My name's Nick Rinn, joined by Xavier Ellison and Ryan Daniels, and it is the Mailbag Rhino.
Straight into it. This episode's brought to you by Woodside Energy, a proud major sponsor of the Fremantle Football Club, supporting local footy from grassroots to greatness. All right, let's start with Nat. Need some advice, lads. I sold my Camry a month ago, but the buyer was out of town and hadn't picked it up yet. On Sunday, it was a bit wet and I slid off the road and into a tree. Can't even blame it on another driver. There was no one around. What should I do? Do you reckon the buyer will still be interested?
Well, it's very lucky that Camry slipped into a tree that was made of pillows because the Camry is not as damaged as what people may suggest.
So what would you say to Nat? Would you say don't drive it again?
I'd say learn your lesson.
This was just a scare?
I'd go straight to your back two tyres. I'd let the air out of them. And just pump them up when the mates return from overseas. If you don't know what we're talking about, I
reckon they know.
Do you reckon everyone knows?
I reckon they know.
Okay, the Camry's obviously Oscar Allen, and pick two's the deal.
Yeah, cool. And playing him and him getting injured is the tree.
Leave him in the garage. Leave him in the garage,
was that Nat?
please.
That was Nat.
Thank you, Nat.
It was very well done by Nat.
Yes.
Matt, surely no one believes there was 31,000 at the Freo North game on the weekend.
Yeah, we're
Do
just
you
in
know
the
what?
back.
Do you know? No. Do you know
I guess
what?
32.
I know when I was on my way in, I spoke to a few people who had investment in the game going well, and they all said, we just hope it starts with a 3.
Listen to this, man.
And so when it goes to 31, I was like,
I honestly thought it looked 32. Remember you asked me what I thought the crowd was? I said
and you're
32.
pretty honest about the crowd.
I said 32.
Yeah.
Rhino's getting a lift of the game with Rita Saffioti. Tourism.
Saxon. Tom McCarthy, who played 200 games. Lock it in and stick it up your clacker, Big Pepsi.
Oh, I'm going to be the arse out of the crowd.
I did think about this, but the only problem is he's 24.
Yeah, I know.
So he's going to have to play 10 seasons to get there.
He's going to be 35.
There's not going to be a lot of finals in the next few years.
It's going to be tough.
He wouldn't want to do a hamstring.
He's going to have to play every game from here on out. Nathan, what are the chances that pies land both king and row? The grass does taste better at the MCG.
Oh, well,
He does like
It doesn't actually because they fill it full of green sand.
I think they could do both.
Yeah, that's why the ground looks perfect.
Green sand.
Yeah, they put sand that's green to fill the dirty mud patches.
What? I did
Yeah.
not know this.
Yeah.
Just green sand.
Yeah.
So you've
Why
eaten
doesn't
it
the
before.
sand flick up?
No, but like say there's like a dirty little patch.
Yeah.
There's a little patch.
Green
They
sand
just
over
put
the
green
top.
sand there.
Is that right?
Yeah. So you can't really see it on TV clearly,
Yeah.
but you can when you're out there.
You
Yeah.
feel the difference. You're like,
Well, you just-
sand pile.
Yeah, there's a little bit of sand out
Have
there.
you tasted it before? Have you?
Oh, probably when I got
Involuntarily.
run down from behind or something.
I reckon they could do both king and row. There's a way. There's ways. Clubs can get very creative.
Well,
these
also
days.
next year, Pendlebury might be off the books.
Yep.
Sidebottom next year might be there.
They still
last
need
year.
assets to trade for.
No, they don't.
No,
No.
free
Well,
agents.
I mean,
Rao
King
would
end
be.
of next year
Yeah, but Rao would.
is a restricted free agent.
Okay.
Rao, yeah, you need to trade for him now, which is going to be very hard for them to do, but they can move heaven and earth to do it. They find
True.
ways. Max, voice message.
Hey guys, long time, first time, all that, love the pod. Just a quick idea to get rid of this buy period, which seems to suck the life out of the competition. So introducing Rivalry Fortnight. 2 weeks, big rivalries, keep the competition going, buy done over 2 weeks, bang. So quick precursor, round 11 or 12, you give Richmond and St Kilda the week off. Rivalry Fortnight week 1. Thursday night, Geelong vs Dogs at Marvel. Friday, Essendon Hawthorn at the G. Saturday night, Showdown. Sunday, Western Derby. Week 2, Friday night, Collingwood Carlton MCG. Saturday, Q Clash. Saturday night, Sydney Derby. Sunday, Melbourne vs North Melbourne at the G. 2 weeks, buys done, get on with the season. Thanks, lads.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Rivalry over 2 weeks, get them done because
I
at
like
least
that.
every game's got something in it.
And you
Melbourne,
can do
North
it.
Melbourne, a rivalry.
So who?
Melbourne, North Melbourne.
They're just because they don't
Just
have
because we
anyone.
need to
Yeah.
play
They
them.
don't have anyone else.
Yeah.
Hey, just while we're thinking of those, a listener at the marathon on the weekend said he listened to the podcast whilst he ran the marathon.
Hey,
So
hey.
congratulations to
Winning your
the runner.
sales.
There you go.
But he had the podcast on, which is even better.
Fantastic. Mitch, you guys ever noticed how many Mitches you have sending in a question? I reckon 50% of the question are from Mitches, which makes sense because I'm pretty sure every second Australian mum having a boy between 1985 and 1995 loved the name. I propose we need a Mitch of the Week award to really drive engagement. The only population of people you'd have a bigger market share than 30 to 40-year-old males born in WA is women in Tassie. A carton for the Mitch of the Week is fair. From
Women in
Mitch.
Tassie.
I've
We
never
have a
noticed.
female Tassie
I've
listener
never
of the
noticed
week.
So
how
we
many
need to
Mitches.
highlight how many Mitches come up.
But if your
Yeah.
name was Mitch, you would notice it.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen with Will. You're William, my William.
Well, I
There's
thought
a
that
lot of
too, but
Williams
there's no
coming around.
Wills in his class, or he's the only William in the entire school.
We've already figured out there's
bullshit.
No,
two
he
more.
is.
I'll put another carton on that. You're telling me there's one
other
Will
Will.
in an
Williams.
entire school.
Well, it's a small school.
How big's the school?
2 streams.
Any
of
Billies?
25 per year. So
There's 200 kids and you reckon there's only one Will.
I'm telling you.
Carton.
What do you want me to do? Bring the school?
I'll ring the school.
Bring the school.
Hey, the school, give us your...
Say, can I speak to William? And they'll arrest you for being a pedo.
Yeah. I don't know all the
No one
Williams.
believes
I'm telling
that
you.
you're the only person that named their kid Will.
Do you
in
actually
an
want to bet
area.
this? Because I know this for a fact. There was a Will who left last year.
What a load of shit.
He
How
was-
do you find that out?
He was year 6 and he left. My wife's on the P. She was in the PNC.
Oh, she runs the show.
We're there all the time.
All right.
I'm telling you, I know this for fact.
Yeah.
You are stuffed.
No, I'm going to dive in there.
We've already got 2 more. We know there's 2 more in his kindy
They're
class.
everywhere.
Not in our class.
bull-
Not in our school.
Oh, yeah. No,
No
we've got
Wills.
a ban on Wills. We're the
No,
only
no
school.
Wills.
Hey, there's
I was the one that came up with the idea to call a kid Will, and there was no more Wills in my school.
Where there's no Will, there's no way. Guess what? Next question's from Mitch. If West Coast get picked 2 for Oscar, is this a different Mitch? It actually is.
Yeah.
If West Coast get picked 2 for Oscar, and based off the current ladder position, would you trade that for Essendon's pick 5 and 8 to help the rebuild? What's worth more this year, pick 1 and 2 or pick 1, 5 and 8? Who says no?
Essendon say no.
But the issue will be, and I was explaining this to someone yesterday, pick 1 and 2 can't be touched. Right? You know the
You're
pool of
first.
players
Safe
available. There's no bidding that's going to get that pushback. 5 and 8 could easily become
15 and
10
17,
and 16. Like, so keep 1 and 2 and you're just not getting as much. So do you want pick 2 or do you want pick 10 and 16? I'd take the 2 high ones.
Yeah, I'd certainly wouldn't be. Yeah, I wouldn't be trading anything. Just take your picks and draft kids. Not always.
Essendon wouldn't really want Oscar either. Doesn't fit.
All right. Mitch. No, I'm just kidding. Zach, hi, boys. Short-time listener here. Just a quick one on the plight of North Melbourne. Where do you think the path to success lies? Perhaps drafting even more medium to small-sized ball users? In all seriousness, do we have any pull to attract the kind of free agent talent that will prevent myself inserting forks in my eyes every time we play? Love the pod. Hope you kick your brother's ass in fantasy this year, Zave.
I overtook him over the weekend.
Oh, did ya?
He sent me a trophy about 6 weeks ago, calling me a loser. Like the actual end of season trophy. He went really early on it this year.
Wow.
And I finally hit the lead
Got
back.
past it. The bye rounds have
Got him.
got you through.
The only thing North Melbourne, I think we've spoken about, their draft picks were too high. And I know it sounds so stupid.
No, I know.
You can't play with
Kept
them.
drafting
and-
kids.
Yeah, the
midfielders.
best
Sorry.
players in the draft
Need to get
by
30-year-olds.
miles are the midfielders. And you can't take a punt on pick 2 with a player pick 15. So it's a tough one.
If a Keytor has to be like, if the Keytor's not in the first 2,
Then you throw. I reckon North Melbourne have improved. Like on the weekend, they showed signs. Clarko said last year they were in 0 games. This was probably about 4 weeks ago. 0 games at three-quarter time. This year they've been in like 8 of them at three-quarter time. So there's improvement there. It's starting to turn.
Can I ask you a question? So, Clarko came in the other day.
Yeah.
I was there at the time. You know what he calls him?
What does he call him?
What does he call you? Zav.
Oh, Zav, yeah.
Does he know that your name is not said that way?
No,
Is
no,
this one of
it
those
is in
things
Melbourne.
that- no,
It is
is-
in Melbourne
is
because like Xavier College is Zavs. The Zavs.
So people call you Zav.
Zav.
But
yeah.
but your name is Zave.
Did you play for Hawthorn?
No, but I got Zav a lot.
Did you?
Yeah, a lot.
So this isn't just Clarko.
No,
He's
no.
called you Zav the first time and you didn't correct him and then it's
No,
stayed
my
that way.
old man would call me Zav. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Just wanted to check.
No. It's very
Okay.
Melbourne because the big school over there, Xavier, and their team is the Zavs.
Zavs.
Old Zavs.
All right. Okay. We'll give you that one. This is Hayden. Do you think North was shafted by the umps? That Larky non-free kick for holding the ball was a disgrace.
Which one's
Can't
that?
remember
I can't
that.
remember that specific one. And North
So probably
supporters are
no.
growing.
Yeah.
Because they've
Yeah,
come
it's
over
nice. It's nice.
here. Pastor Mark.
Just wanted to say, fantastic coaching move. Great work from JL. Tracy was actually in the back line from about 3 minutes to go, up against Darling, who uncharacteristically was actually marking a lot of the ball during the game. So for JL to realise what was needed in that moment and put Tracy in that back line, 3 minutes to go, well done. That was a very gritty win, and we haven't always won those ones. And I reckon you've got to put that one down to the coach and to the moves during the game, so well done.
He's been
Flowers.
very critical of the coach, Pastor.
Has he?
Very critical. And I agree, because you can look at that game 2 ways, and none of you say I'm in the tent. But you look at that game as, shit, how'd you let North Melbourne back in the game?
Yeah.
That's a disgrace.
When you talk about Freo, you have to put your hands above your head.
All I'm saying is,
Keep them there till you finish.
The whole time.
all I'm
That's the
saying
rule.
is, I guarantee they would have lost that game last year. They lost that game 6 times last year.
Yeah.
They didn't lose it. So that was better.
To the pastor's point,
Yes.
Josh Tracy going back would be something they've done it before with 2 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go. It's like NFL. They have the
Kerno goes back
2
into
minutes.
town as
Like
well.
every club's got someone. He swung as the 7th.
Yep.
But you can only ever train it. You can't put it into practice unless you find yourself in that game, which they found themselves in. So it was good to see it work
perfectly.
Well, the only problem was that
The
Josh
kick.
kicked it straight out in the full from there.
Yeah.
But he tried to hug the boundary line, but it worked well. It does
If
work
he
well.
hadn't taken that mark, there was 4 rows behind him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it was
it was brilliant. He's-
Dono. G'day, Big Pepsi, Nick, Ryan, and Ryan, Nick. I know you two don't sound the same, but my brain can't discern which is which. I still love you both. That is.
Yeah, right, it's flat.
I was feeling good about that.
Reddy's happy.
In the round 13/14 pod, there was a mention of how X was drafted in the same year as Pendle, so I thought it would be worthwhile checking out their comparative stats. Big Pepsi had a pretty good career, 120 games, 3 grand finals, 1 premiership. A lot of players would be very happy with that career. In that same time, Pendlebury played 235 games, was a 5-time All-Australian, 5-time best and fairest winner, played in 2 grand finals and won a premiership. A great resume. But what about Pendlebury since X has retired?
Oh.
It's a career that most players would take.
Oh, yeah.
179. This is since you've retired.
Yeah.
179 games, 1 All-Australian, 2 grand finals, 1 premiership. The man is a freak. Much love, Dono. That
No,
is-
he's a freak.
that's some good math. I like
Yeah.
that.
You've got to add the part that I won him a flag in under 18s.
Travis, I see Dogs going into the top 8 by end of season, but who comes out?
GWS, but they won on the weekend, makes it a bit harder. I'm worried. I think Giants or Suns.
Suns are
Potentially Freo, or you think Freo?
No, I think Freo.
Freo's run gets quite hard after this lazy patch.
Is it?
Like real hard.
Yeah,
Like a
well,
lot
no,
of-
Hawthorn.
I think I said Giants have got a tough run. Giants have got a tough run.
Yeah, it's one of those.
But they won Brisbane at the Gather, which
are
I
just
didn't
a
tick off. Yeah, Suns I'm
little
nervous.
shaky. Andrew, Ryan, I'll now buy your Camry for 20K.
There's the Camry, mate. So the
again.
Camry was worth
40 something?
120.
I was 120.
Was what I was offering for it.
Jeez.
It was only
That's a
worth
big Camry.
It was only worth 40,
Oh, that's right.
but I offered you 120.
yeah.
That was pick 2,
That's right.
and now you're getting 20 total. You've lost coin.
Josh, death taxes and West Coast Eagles key players getting injured. Not sure why Ryan's Toyota Camry was parked outside the Scarborough Sporty to start with. Hopefully we get a good enough offer for it to get band 1 compo. It's a dark time for Eagles fans, but to keep my spirits up, I'd like to remind myself that we are only 5 to 6 top picks in the mid-season draft off a side that can compete for top 17. Shout out to the multiple people too who messaged about the Camry. We've only included a few of them.
Mate, the
Yeah,
Camry,
just went off.
There
there's
was a
not many
lot.
analogies I do that stick.
The Camry.
The Camry is stuck.
Oh, okay. Jono, in this week's episode, Rhino said about Geelong, we put Cameron and Dangerfield and Bailey Smith on this pedestal, and we have with Tom Stewart for years. And everybody else has just been a guy. But I feel Myers, Holmes, they're guys now. I know exactly what he meant. Could Rhino elaborate a little on how many different types of guys there are? Is it just guy, average player, and capital G, the guy, top player? Or is there more of a spectrum with subtle nuances based on phrasing, emphasis, and context? That's a good question.
There's levels of guys.
There's the
So if you're
Thailand. There's
just
a
a
Thailand
guy-
guy I had.
Well, it's what you put in front of it. Yeah, it's just a guy.
Yeah.
Just a guy is a guy.
Contributor.
guy.
In the
Contributor.
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 The guy is one.
Danger.
One out.
It's the best guy.
Danger.
It's the best guy.
Danger's the guy, or Bailey Smith probably.
But
Bailey
it's
Smith's
not
the
a bad
guy
thing
now.
to be
Yeah.
just a guy.
No, just a guy you're in and contributing.
Yeah.
You need a lot of guys.
Just quickly while we're doing that, Dangerfield we didn't touch on. 350 games this week. He has been remarkable.
He has been
Remarkable.
durable for the player like that. Doesn't make sense.
Remarkable.
Yeah. Patrick, hey, hard-ons, curious if Dunkley's drop-off on apparent form has a direct correlation to turn in Brisbane's form. Pepsi, should I hold Dunks in fantasy or can I fire him into the sun? Rhino, what are the odds Mick Luggage is All-Australian and are you backing it? And Rehab Smoko, are they officially in the yuck zone? All right, are you trading
Brisbane?
Dunks? Each question we just answer our own.
So there was.
Are you trading him in fantasy?
No, I'm not. But they need to stop getting him to do jobs in the midfield and just let him hunt the ball.
I think Mick Luggage would be All-Australian and I would back it.
Stoner.
Smoko?
They're not in the yuck. They're in the third.
Okay.
This is
Brisbane-
fine.
Brisbane.
They're just
Don't
getting
let
it
them
done.
buy yet.
If you didn't know position, like previous results, if you just watched it, they look yuck.
Dean, the year is 2028. Nick Dacos is a multiple premiership Brownlow All-Australian and Pies BNF winner. He has just become the first $2 million man for Tassie. If the Gold Coast could turn the Son of God into a billboard for Host Plus on the front of every page in Australia, why won't the Devils do the same thing, get a player of the similar ilk to come and be the face of the franchise? Imagine that. Can you imagine that?
Well, we couldn't imagine Gaz doing
We
it.
didn't think Gaz would do it. Jeez, that would be something. Luke,
No way.
voice message.
Hey guys, Luke here. Why does Max Gawn venture forward? Every time he marks it inside 50, he misses anyway. And then during the Port game, he got a handball receive from 40 out and tried to snap it like a hero, and bro missed everything. Surely he's better off just sitting outside 50 and waiting to clunk him that way, and then maybe just handball it because you can't kick, mate. Anyway, whilst on topic, Riley O'Brien missing a goal from 4 metres out on the weekend, kicking it out in the full, and the Crows lost by 3 points, but apparently it was the umpire's fault again, but nothing to do with Rob kicking out in the full. Or Phil Philp missing from 10 metres out. Even though he's not a ruckman, he's tall enough to be a ruckman, so he can cop some abuse as well. Cheers, guys.
I love that the ruckman. The stuff that pisses me off about rucks is finally getting pointed at. Why does Max Gawn go forward?
Yeah.
Just stay back and catch him and handball
I
him.
like to think that Luke started off as a normal man. And then he's starting to become deeper and deeper into
Unhinged
this
towards
insanity
ruckman.
of ruckman. And now all he talks about is rucks.
Yeah,
to his
I love
partner,
it.
his friends.
His ex-partner now because she left him.
She's gone because all he wants to talk about is rucks.
But also, there could be a Channel 7 breaking news. There's a hostage situation going on. And Luke's held up in a house with Max Gawn or something, completely lost the plot.
Glenn, this is he'll leave us a voicemail while he's doing it.
Yeah.
Glenn, this is the first time this season that an Eagles player got 30 disposals. Has there ever been a longer stretch of games where no player on a team collected 30 in a game, excluding 2020? That stretch broken by a debutant, no less. McCarthy at 31 at 94%. That was handballs included. Our best on, yes, a number of kick-ins, but still hit targets and found the ball. Not many positives from that game, but he was one. Yep, we covered him pretty well yesterday.
Yep.
Great debut. Jamie, Ross trying to get Zach Jones to 200 games. Would this make him the worst 200 gamer ever?
It's close to 200.
I am surprised that he keeps playing
Yeah,
Zach
I am
Jones.
too.
They've got some kids that need to get some time.
They
Play
got-
Boxall.
What was the stat? I didn't really say. The 10 players, 29 or older, played on the weekend
It's
for
too
St
many.
Kilda.
It's too many.
Too many.
Zach Jones is 30 years of age, and he has played, just really quickly, they didn't say how many games he'd played.
No, he's trying.
He's up to, he's miles off it, 159.
Well, still, yeah.
Ross might get him there.
No, I don't think you'll get to 165.
No. Bailey, if you could choose any club to start your AFL career at right now, who would it be?
Depends on my shit or am I good.
Well, that's the thing, right? If you're at
if
high
I'm no
end
good,
kick,
West Coast.
you want to play.
'Cause I'll
is
play.
the first thing. But you want to play at a club that's not a shit show.
I would say...
Yeah, if I'm picked 58.
Because if you go to
West
Collingwood,
Coast.
you're just going to wait for 3 years to play. If you go to Geelong, you're not going to play for 3 years.
Here's one for you. If I'm a talent and I'm like a high talent,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind slipping into Adelaide.
Really?
Yeah, because you'll play.
Adelaide Oval, you're the number one team in town. You're the big brother.
Really?
You're good enough. There's going to be spots in that midfield.
Who's I forgot his name, but Sid Draper. He's getting, what's he played? 10?
Yeah,
No,
he
not
played
10.
a bit of sub. No, he
Five,
wouldn't
six.
really play 10.
He's on the
Wouldn't really
cusp.
play that. Yeah, no, if I was good enough, I'm playing at Adelaide.
Yeah, okay. What
And
about Melbourne?
Nah.
No.
Small club?
3 people.
I was scared
Wasn't
of
it
Stephen May.
kids? You want big crowds. Richmond?
Richmond, I'd be more eager to
Yeah,
play.
Richmond.
Not the crowd thing, but you know that you're building something together with
Yeah.
your mates.
Yeah.
Dusty will come past once every few months.
Ridian. Banfield plays a very odd role for Freo. I don't think he had one disposal where he kicked it to someone yesterday, all long down the line. Talk us through his value and what he offers.
He's
Look,
played,
to be honest with you, I think he's player 22 selected probably each week, and he'd know that. I think we interviewed him after a game once, and he was like, I'm just still week to week.
Happy to be here.
I think he's got the good fella tax.
Yep.
I think he's a good bloke. I don't think he's an issue. I
Got
think
his
he
shit
does,
together
I think
off
he
field.
does what he's told.
Yep.
Often gets given shit jobs that the other players don't want to commit to.
Yep.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah. Zach, fellas, why are players still required to limp, hop, hobble, crawl off the ground after sustaining an obvious injury? I'm no doctor, but doesn't it kind of make sense to immediately put no extra pressure on the injury? Cheers, eBay Zach. And he's put a picture on the other side. It's a stretcher that you can buy for $82 on eBay.
The
Emergency rescue stretcher. It can hold it out. Looks pretty good, actually. It's camouflage.
Because if you exit the ground, not through the gates, you can't come back on.
Yes, correct.
So you need to go
Can you
through
take the stretcher through the gates, though?
No, if the stretch is out, then you still can't come on for a certain period of time
20
either.
minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, so the stretcher sort of delays a few things. I always think, too, that when you do hurt yourself, you think it's not that bad to start with. Get off the ground, get off the ground, get off the ground, get off the ground.
Still in that shock phase.
And then once you get off, then you go, oh, okay, no, it might be broken. Now I'm in a bit of trouble. But I reckon in that phase, you're like, I just got to get off the ground.
Yeah.
Well,
Jed,
Mickey Barlow standing up with a broken leg.
No, but when you do get cleaned up on the other side of the ground and you know you're done, more people should just roll off the field to the side wing and then just make their way around the fence and bring someone straight on.
Jad, are the Power back into finals contention, or am I just being deluded? Well, they are 11th.
No, you'll be.
They have a game in hand, but they are 3 wins outside the 8.
Can't have them losing 2 games by 90 and 1 by 80 already this year.
They could be like in Sydney though and just be annoying.
Yeah, naughty. They'll be naughty.
They're going to be annoying. Jared, lads, help me understand how Tim Kelly got 2 more years. Looks like he'd rather be anywhere else but a footy field at times and is a shell of his former self. So why does the club extend him? Surely at best, at his age, he's on 1-year prove-it deals. Love the pod. PS, stop being tight. Shell out the cash for the old intro. Surely Big Pepsi can fund it.
Back to Tim Kelly. Those contracts have surprised me for years.
I don't think the money's huge.
No, but it's still, the money's irrelevant. Because you're not competing against anyone.
I am a bit surprised because they put him in that role, that half-forward role, which is clearly not his
Like, again, we love Duggo.
Yeah.
He should be ones.
But he's just on 4.
Yeah.
Elliot Yeo, 3. Love Yoey. Like, who are you competing against?
I was surprised he got 2.
Yeah.
I was surprised he got 2. I thought 1 year made sense. And
Correct.
maybe 1 year with a trigger.
Trigger of 15 games or something.
Yeah. Byron, Dewar should play forward or back half?
Back.
Yep. First Light Golf. Can you pass this on to Null if you come across him? Frank is looking for him. So this is a email that he sent me. He says, Dear Null, this is Frank, business consultant from Alibaba.
It didn't
global
pull the
partner.
name.
How are you? Someone has actually sent this to Null. This is an email to Null.
Yeah, it'd be an automatic marketing email, and it just hasn't grabbed the name out of the database.
Mick, will the Suns miss finals? Difficult fixture. I think the choke is on.
We just spoke about that. We nominated him as a chance.
Very possible. Max, Richmond should hire Hinkley as an assistant or development coach since he has a clear country Vic connection and RFCs.
Clayton Hinkley.
I mean, Kenny Hinkley, though, he'll be a good asset wherever he goes.
Yeah.
His
record's good.
Yeah, he was a teacher, wasn't he?
Don't know, but I still remember that
Always
Bowen,
like the coaches that used to be
spray.
teachers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of
Clarko
them,
was
yeah.
a teacher, Bolton was a teacher, Fagan was a teacher.
Yeah, the teachers, they seem to work. Alex, hey, chufters, 2 points for the pod. 1, to the bloke last week suggesting Hewitt is remotely on pace / equal to Wardlaw is having a massive laugh. Wardlaw would immediately be West Coast's second best young player by the Flemington Straight. It's a dreadful trade, except that PS Jinby is a massive disappointment. Jeez. Yeah. 2, feedback for Bib Pepsi. He is always negative when trades and moves are suggested for role players. Last week when talking about Sheldrick and Erasmus to the Eagles, he was like, doesn't move the needle. He is always like this, which is bizarre. Both are walk-up starters and great young talent to bring into a rebuilding club. Your bottom 5 are almost as important as your top 5 at a club, and clubs need to be proactive in bringing these in. Stop with the negativity and spruik for clubs to work on the whole list, not just stars.
Yeah, no, but they're bringing him in on 4 or 5 year contracts. We just spoke about contracts. They're not bringing him in for 2 years. They're signing him for the length.
Why are you so negative all the time?
Then you can't
why you
move
hate
them.
everything?
So they turn up, they're fringe players there. They come over to West Coast, get 5-year deals, and a fringe players on 5 years.
Actually, Jimby's been pretty good the last month.
He was playing
what's
full
the guy
back, though. They didn't draft the full back. He has been pretty
they
good.
drafted a midfielder.
Yeah.
Matt, so glad the AFL rewarded Essendon with another 4 Thursday or Friday night games to end the year.
God.
No,
on top of
they
the
haven't,
8,
have they?
on top of the 8 they had in the first 15 rounds.
Starting
How
this
does
week.
that happen?
Remember when Carlton was so bad they had all those Friday night games,
Yeah.
and the only reason why people watched was to watch Mick Malthouse fight Mark
Yeah.
Stevens
Yes.
after the game.
What's our man in the fixture, man? WA guy?
Canadian.
Oh,
He's the Canadian, mate. I'm telling you, he's from
not our
Canada.
man.
he's
It's
not
not
from
our
Canada,
man.
from here.
But the Canadian messes it up.
My man is in
Trav-
Canada.
Our man's good. Josh?
Josh Bowler.
Josh is
Yeah,
good.
but he's not the man. The
But then
man's
he
in Canada.
He sends it
No,
to
but he's
Canada.
got the Canadians where the algorithm is, but he sort of
Mate,
he
the
inputs the
algorithm
data
is-
and then
the algorithm
got an
is
angle.
stuffed. If Essendon keeps getting these marquees, it just sucks. You just turn up and watch them
Yeah.
just chip the ball around the back and lose by 60.
yeah.
And as we said yesterday, we love what Essendon
They,
doing.
they should be in the graveyard shift now.
Absolutely.
They're Sunday afternoons.
Saturday or Sunday mornings.
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah,
There's also
Sunday
a broadcast
afternoons.
element.
I reckon Sunday morning, just get it out of the way.
Yeah, Carlton have got a lot coming up
early
too. Oh, yuck. There's some yuck Thursday, Friday night.
Jaden, would you prefer prime Luke Shuey or prime Zach Merritt? And do you think they're similar?
They are similar.
see that.
Shuey was more powerful and quick.
Give me prime Shuey. Without the injuries, give me prime
Shuey
Shuey.
Shuey was unbelievable. Zach Merritt's unbelievable. I think
Yeah.
it's a 50-50.
toss of
Shuey,
the
I have to
coin.
pick one.
I'll go Merritt.
Oh,
But toss of the coin.
It's not that hard, is it?
and probably Merritt.
Me, 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 me.
Well, because you don't want he's going to run into him after this.
He's going to see Luke
The
at the coffee shop.
Shuey's to split games open.
Bailey, just listening to the round 14 preview, and Zave and Nick are 100% correct in saying that the single fins would taste different. I
Yeah.
experienced it with energy drinks that are supermarket bought versus local deli bought.
Yep.
There is always something off about deli ones, like they've been sitting at room temp or in the sun. Rhino also had 5 days to find a carton, so I think it's just poor form. Piss off, Bailey.
No, Bailey, you're a star.
Bailey's in.
Drinking energy drinks from the supermarket.
Bailey, if you ever need a carton, mate, knock on my door. I've got one sitting at the back door.
Good luck with the blueberry monster drink or whatever you're
Shut
drinking.
up, mate.
All right.
Leave him alone.
Mate, it's a line. You got to get through the day however you get through the day. you know?
Caleb.
It's a step back from cocaine.
Kalen, how bad is the turf going to be for Freo Western? 2 AFL games this week, then State of Origin. It's not going to
Yeah,
look good.
no.
Nah, it's going to be. It's going to
The
be
green sand.
I think we're 30. Yeah, the green sand. I think 30 mils of rain over the next day too.
It's not going to help.
Yeah.
Sweetie, this one is for groundskeeper Rhino. Last year, you wrote an article about the Optus surface and what the contractors were doing to improve it. Every weekend, I look to the surface with the refreshed hope I will see this promised improvement, but instead, I am confronted with the sight of a clearly below standard surface. Can you please demand a please explain on how the Hans Memorial ground surface is, I think it means hands, is better than the Karren Up CC greens, but Optus Stadium looks like a cow paddock. With 3 AFL games in the State of Origin in a 7-day period, I worry what will be another Ed Sheeran concert level event that they will be recovering from in for years to come. Can we please sack the Optus contractor and hire the hands crew? Cheers, sweetie. I think it looked really good on Saturday night. On Sunday, it didn't look so great, and I am concerned.
It's going to be ripped to shreds in the Origin.
It is going to get ripped to shreds. Yeah.
Still won't be as bad as the SCG.
No. I can hear what he's saying. I think it has improved. I think the surface this year's been way better than
why
it's
should
been in
it? Why
previous
should
years.
it not be just brilliant?
So the way it was described to me when they built it is that it takes like 7 or 8 years for the grasses to all grow through each other properly. I don't know if that's true. It's probably buying themselves some time. I don't know. Like, I'm not
It's like your mate who's been single for 4 years. He's just not ready to start dating yet.
It does sound like that. Kendrick, Big Pepsi is lucky McCarthy is 25 next month as far as Crab Watch goes. Is there an argument to be made for the AFL altering list structures to incentivise clubs giving mature ages a list spot? Guys like Dom Brew aren't listed having missed the boat initially, but they shouldn't be left having never played AFL just because there's no benefit to listing a 27-year-old due to bottom half clubs being obligated to pick a kid who won't do anything for 5 years and may never make it over a guy who'd give you 5 good years. You wouldn't
Yeah, I
see
like
this in
that.
the NBA. If you're good enough, you get in a list, some fashion, you get paid.
No, I like it. I'm all for the mature age people coming in.
So he's suggesting maybe you have a list spot that you have to pick an older guy on.
Or maybe you get like a quarter of it. Something sits outside the cap. There's some kind of like benefit
I
to
think
it.
we should throw more Hail Marys at people that have played basketball once and they've shown that they can jump high. I just reckon more of those players. Let's pay them for 7 years to do nothing.
Yeah, that works all the time.
And then they never come. Alex Condon.
Tomorrow never comes. There you go. My biggest peeve in the footy
was
is
good.
not so much the stand on the mark as a whole, but the stand on the mark when someone elects for goal. They mark it on 50 and have a shot from 45 because the umpires are so slow to call play on. The players then reacting to the umpires instead of just common sense.
I'll rebuttal that.
Hold on. We're still going.
Sorry.
Firstly, why don't they allow players to move side to side if someone elects to have a shot? How hard would that be to implement? Secondly, if a player elects to take a shot, let's say in the case of a 50 plus and passes it, and if it's marked, call play on. Thoughts on that? Make the time wasted at the end of games a little more difficult. In no way affected by this on the weekend. My team was on a bye, but it's annoying as F.
I'll tell you what annoys me even more is when people, you're going to stand 5 metres off the mark and then you can get a bit fruity. When they take a mark 50 on the 50-metre line and the dopey defender stands back from the actual mark, so the person who's having a shot from 50, the man on the mark's now at 45. It happens way too often. Get to where the mark is when they're having a shot. Don't give them the extra 5. It happened on the weekend and North jagged one, I think it was, or Freo jagged one.
Yeah, right.
Get on the mark. Don't be slow because they'll make you stand 5 metres off where the mark is and it's a far easier kick.
I didn't even notice that before.
Watch
I do know some players when they run straight up to it and stand there.
Yes, watch for the ones who don't do it quick enough and they lose 5.
Matt, question for Nick. Does he believe in history before 1950?
Yes. What's this in relation to? Is it goal kickers?
Oh, yeah, it is. Because didn't you just, I don't know. What did you?
I said Doug Wade, didn't I? Is that what he's on about?
I
Don't know.
don't know what that's in
I wasn't
reference to.
there.
Maybe it's just you being weird. Aaron, with 10
What happened
rounds
in
to
the
go,
50s?
can all three of you do the ladder predictor and see what your final eight is? We'll do it for next week.
Next week.
Josh, question about West Coast and the Kangaroos. Why, for two teams that have finished down the bottom of the ladder for the last few years, why don't they get to play each other twice? I don't care that North have been here for their home game. Two shit teams should be playing each other twice. Make them travel to Perth again. They don't even play Freo twice. Joke. He's kind of right. The bottom 4 should play each other twice, guaranteed.
And I'm sick of those teams that are sitting 8th to 10th who have the shit teams over and over and over. And then we go, dude, they've had a good season. No, they just got lucky by having the shit.
At Pole, on the Triple M opener, when you go, you're a star, who was it you were talking about? I like it. I don't know who I was talking about.
I can't remember.
Because they take that audio from somewhere. I don't even know where they find that stuff.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, I don't know who. Maybe Harley? I don't know. Must have
No,
been from
I
a call.
can't remember any of it.
It must have been from a call I did. I'll ask the guys. I'll find out for you, man.
I'll give you a hot tip. If you're asking Tash at work, she's not going to know.
She's not going to know.
She's awesome, but she's not going to know where that's come from.
Siobhan, the solution to X's paper lid issue. Oh,
Look at Rinny's lid now.
man. Yeah,
Just
it's all-
slop all over it.
Well, he sent in, from Liddy. Oh, you can buy plastic
Plastic lids. Yeah, we got to wash them.
All right, mate.
You can just
You
take
can buy
a
a bundle,
Kit
a
Cup.
pack of 2, reusable
Yeah,
lid bundles, 2 pack,
Silicone
$30.
lids.
They're
Silicone
silicone.
lids.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
buy them
silicone lids. I know them, but
from Liddy.
Well, quite often I have my own cup.
yeah. I actually, to be honest with you, I didn't make a coffee in the morning out of the mug.
All
so.
right, time for the conspiracies. Blake, Xavier has noticed that he's been caught out by Rhino with the reverse psychology Freo betting. Xavier has made a point of saying Freo will win, or even going as far as betting on them, all in the hopes that they will actually lose. Xavier, not wanting to be caught out, has last week gone on the attack of LDU, claiming that the podcast members would beat him in defensive running. This was all a ploy in getting LDU back to his best for the Fremantle game, and it nearly paid off with LDU starting the game on fire.
First quarter was unbelievable.
We've been onto this one for a while.
We
He's
have.
reverse
It's a trend.
jinxing Fremantle every single. Sam, you guys are purposely shit at same game multis because every time someone copies your multi and it goes under, Tab Touch gives you a cut. I don't mind that one at all.
Jeez, I wish.
The only thing is, same game multis are hard. I'll say that.
They're very hard.
Nah.
They're very. I'm going to get
Easy
one this
as.
week.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel
going
like
to
this
nail it this week.
one. I feel like I'm going to get this one.
reckon
Apologies
now-
if you have followed anyone yet.
Do you reckon I'll go through without a win?
I would. It's not
Yeah,
something.
it's-
that-
I'm not trying.
I think we're on the mark.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely than you getting one. Now, anybody who was listening last week, I paid my carton to save. I paid it in a box that was a
Stepsisters and
What was it?
brothers and the
Peroni?
creepy uncle.
got
the
4
box was
six-packs.
half soaked in vodka cruiser.
And you understand, Nick, didn't you, that they don't taste the same.
The
If they've
people-
been out in the rack.
The people spoke and they said 74% of them said it's paid.
Yeah, they're the 74% that just go, oh, I'm happy to get anything for free. The
Deal.
24,
Yeah.
the 20.
Now, since then, Gage Rhodes has intervened and they said, hey, legends, happy to sort the debt and get a fresh case to you of single fin. Let us know the best delivery address and we'll ensure there's no step kid mix match for Zave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 450,
Blended family.
450 Roberts Road.
Well,
to
someone's
get
been onto this and they've sent in a conspiracy theory. This is from Checking the Gauge.
there. Right.
Xavier Ellis has spent the last 5 years raving about single fin, taking pictures with single fin, placed conveniently in shot, saying he can only drink single fin. Single fin this, single fin that. After placing the single fin brand
I
subconsciously
think I've got to go.
After placing the single fin brand subconsciously into the minds of listeners and using his substantial Instagram influence for half a decade, he had us all right where he wanted us. He was so close to being a Gage Rhodes influencer. But how would he make his kill? Then North Melbourne stepped in. The Bunbury game. The perfect crime. He reaches out to Andrew Dillon, who he's been pretending not to know for years, calling him Dylan McDaniels, Dylan McAndrew, Dylan McDonald. Turns out they're old tier 1 buddies. He calls in a favour to Dill. The Eagles must lose in Bunbury. Dylan calls the umps, the Roos, the Eagles senior players, even the Bunbury mayor. He makes it clear. North wins. The wheels are in motion. Zave then plans the perfect alibi, a trip out on a boat. As the crime unfolds, he's on the ocean, pretending to know how to fish while drinking, of course, single fin. Zave then places the bet with Rhino on the Bunbury game, and a bunch of naive listeners too. The Eagles somehow lost despite North playing like a Div 12 Resi's team. And guess who cleans up? Guess who's not in Bunbury, who's a few thousand kilometres away on a boat? Convenient. All for a free carton, or 7. Then the cream. Gage Rhodes, the final piece of the puzzle. Ryan pays the carton debt, but of course, Zave had already gotten to the bottle shop and paid them off to hide the full cartons of single fin. It leads to the mixed bag carton, the social media post, and bang! Gage Rhodes takes the bait. The offer of a free full carton and an in with the biggest and best beer brand in WA. This is some Ocean's 11 shit. We've been played like a fiddle. Bang.
No comment. No comment. No comment. Having said that, I would say of the 7 cartons I took off Instagram, I reckon 5 have circled back to pay.
Still want the other
So
2?
if you haven't, I'm not going to look for it, but you know who you are.
He's going to give the like, go back and give it a cheeky like.
No, at a bare minimum, if you don't want to give me the carton, donate it to charity. And send me a screenshot of what.
Donate the carton to
Take
charity.
a carton
donate
out
the
of
cash.
Iggy's.
Donate the cash to a charity.
Donate
Go
a tinny.
to the children's hospital and drop it off at the front desk.
Don't take the piss out of charity.
This is this charity that just for blokes who can't get their own beer. So
Yeah.
you drop off a carton of beer and they can have a drink.
Take it down to the men's
I
shed.
don't mind this,
Yeah,
actually.
local men's shed.
I'll
Yeah,
go
there
down
we
to
go.
the bench shed.
There we go.
Yeah, that looks nice. I want to do
That
some
was
woodwork with some.
That was a multi-layer conspiracy.
That was a multi-lane. I've got to go. See ya.
All right, this has been the Harple Gets AFL show. We'll see you next time.
This episode's brought to you by Woodside Energy, a proud major sponsor of the Fremantle Football Club, supporting local footy from grassroots to greatness.